What's going on, guys? It's Surfcasting the Island, and today I'm going to be talking about my personal experiences throughout the years of targeting a variety of species, all the way from freshwater to saltwater, which I currently endure now throughout my journey. So, ever since a very young age, I've pretty much been fishing since I could stand. My dad wasn't too into it, so a lot of people ask me, where does this passion come from? I'm not entirely sure, but it's just I know it's in me. When I'm there, I'm thinking about it, and when I'm not there, I'm still thinking about it. It's always playing in the conscious and subconscious at any given time. If I'm at work, if I'm at school, I'm playing, basketball. I was also a basketball player, but neither here nor there. I probably started around 3, 4 years old. Um, my dad would take me to the local ponds and whatnot, in the local Nassau area. But the first fish I can recall that I caught was at Bay Park. That was a snapper. It was a baby bluefish. We were plugging for smaller bluefish at the time, and ever since that day, like I said, it stayed with me. My early years, from a toddler up until like my mid-teens, I was primarily a freshwater fisherman. I would go to Hempstead Lake, fish from the bank there. Grant Park, as you guys may or may not know, used to be a very big honey hole. But again, a lot of the pond fishing isn't what it used to be from the bank. Now, when I do it, it's more so um, from the boat. My buddy Dom, he has a small sun dolphin that we play around with all the local ponds and bigger lakes like Ronkonkoma and whatnot. And yeah, so freshwater from the start's pretty much where my roots have been when it comes to fishing. Targeting the largemouth bass, probably one of my favorites of all time, species wise. Um, I'd say around, you know, late high school, early college, I got into the creek fishing. And that was something that really stayed with me as well because I learned about the very close cousin to the largemouth, which is the smallmouth bass. And man, that's one fish. Like, if you really have to experience that type of fight. They're totally different than largemouth. I'm saying, a 3 pound largemouth is equivalent to a 1 pound smallmouth in terms of how they fight. They're all muscle. It's a total different territory. You're battling the elements when you're fishing the rivers. We go up to Schoharie Creek and whatnot, those types of areas. And it's just great. The best way I could compare those types of fish is they fight like blackfish, very muscular. They dog you all the way to the shore, just like they dog you all the way to the boat if it was a blackfish. But yeah, no holds bar. That will probably stay with me forever. I'll always go back to my sweet water. In terms of saltwater kicking off, that didn't really come into play. I'd say, around mid college, my sophomore year. Um, yeah, I mostly fished from the boats when I was saltwater. Fluke. I used to go all the time with my dad. When I was young, up until now as well. But then there was a fish I learned about, and it was the striped bass. And there is no other fish in my book in the Northeast that is as mystical, magical, and elusive as this fish. Yeah, it's great targeting them from the boat. They're such a great fish to catch. Um, but around, like I said, mid college, sophomore year, end of freshman year, I started surf casting for them. And to me, I just love the fact of getting them, off land. You're battling the elements, like I said before, as if you're fighting fish in Schoharie Creek, and stuff like that. It's a total different ball game because I call it the 2 feet in the heartbeat. You have two legs, two arms, and you're just using what you know on the open beach, the inlets and the back bays, like I discussed in my previous videos. But yeah, it's a total different ball game. It's a lot tougher, and they're just a great fish to catch. There's so many different ways, so many different time periods and windows that you can catch them. And I don't really have much experience with bigger fish, but all I can tell you is up to this point that I've learned and witnessed and endured is targeting big fish, especially striped bass, is an art. I'm sure many other guys, I don't want to quote them directly, but Crazy Alberto Nee and Doc Muller and John Skinner, all those guys talk about fishing around that slack water. Very important for those bigger fish. You got to know your winds, you got to know your tides, you got to know the moon, and that all plays into factor because it's pretty much a function to an equation. If you have one of those pieces missing, um, it's not going to go in your favor. Put it that way. And that's it. When you strip everything away, you strip away the fish, catching the fish from fishing. What do you have? I think the most satisfaction I get out of doing it is it's a logical approach to a problem. Fishing in itself is a problem. It's not a bad thing, but it's just something that you want to solve so you get that satisfaction. And I recently started keeping a logbook this year. And even then, I'm starting to see, okay, if this is happening at Rockaway on a southwest wind, I'll produce at the last two of the outgoing. Something like that. Maybe that's accurate, maybe that's not. I'm just thinking off the top of my head. But you put that into play, and once you start duplicating situations, like I said, I think that's, it's a logical approach, and that's what gets satisfaction, and you want to keep getting more. Let me get this bite, let me get that bite, let me get this fish, let me get that fish. And it's just all about, in my book, how much you want to sacrifice and take forward. Fishing as a whole, it really really takes a big part of my life. I do have a social life, but at times the fishing takes over when it's hot and heavy, and people wonder why I go missing on the weekends sometimes and whatnot. But that's what I want to pursue sometimes, and that's my calling. It's been my calling from day one. And it's really my passion. But I gave you a history of where I was, where I am now. I just want to expand on surf casting. I think that's my primary focus. I want to share with you guys my experiences, make you guys better anglers. And yeah, I don't really have much else to say, but let's see what 2021 has to bring for us in the spring. And I hope to see you guys soon. Thank you, and like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you.